All right. Well, we are in week 4, which is wild. We're almost halfway through. Hi, Deb. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Deborah, Catherine, Christine. So I feel like this week's check-in will be quick because we're not into the curves yet. And next week might go longer than 30 minutes. I don't know. But But I wanted to still have a check-in this week just to make sure everybody's feeling okay with where they're at. If anyone's got any questions or wants to share their progress so we can cheer you on, that would be cool. How's everybody doing? Good? Good.
I'm excited to start the curves, but still kind of afraid to start them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, I was going to say start small, start big with the curves. And that's why we do, like, I know next week I've got the video is on both the big and the small curves, but start with the large ones because they're, the larger the piecing, the easier it is, the less busy. Yeah. So just start with the big quarter curves. And then we get into the smaller ones. And then I can't remember if in the video next week, I think I show how to put the curves together for the circles, what I call the blueberries, even though they're not necessarily blueberries, but for this block here. So I think I also include how to get those together nicely so your seams are continuous. But we deal with that next week. This week it's just, now I call this birds in the air. I think birds in the air is actually, there are more of these, but they're all oriented the same way within a block. So maybe it's a bird in the air. I don't know, but I call it birds in the air because half of it is a bird in the air, I think. So it's just these ones this week. And I think this one, is it this one that's not even in Bloom too?
No, that one is in Bloom too.
And everything, but the hourglass.
Yeah.
Is not.
Yeah. So I knew there was one of them. One of whoever's doing Bloom 2 only has to make like one stack this week. And then when you get into the quarter curves, I think Bloom 2 has more quarter curves than Bloom 1. So,
yep.
So you'll be able to pace yourselves. It'll be okay. It'll be good.
Yeah, this week was really easy for me.
Yeah, nice. Look at those. Those look great.
They're ready.
Excellent.
Ready for curves.
I'm done with those. I'm gonna try and get a head start on the quarter curves because I think I'm gonna be inundated on that week with Bloom 2.
Yeah. It's a lot. So if you do want to start the curves this week and you're feeling okay about it, then you can go ahead and start. You can also watch that on-demand video on Curves Are Fun, which basically goes over everything I'm covering in the little video that gets posted next week. If you just want to prep for curves next week, you can take all your curved pieces ahead of time. And I like to fold them. So let me just highlight myself. Spotlight. So I take my quarter curves and I usually do it at my iron to put a little crease, which will be the mark where I line up the outer piece. And you can either just finger press it, but I take them all to my iron and I just fold each one and just set my iron on there to give it a nice little crease on this piece. And then I do the same thing with the outer piece. And then that way I know where I need to line the two pieces up when I'm piecing them together, which I cover in that on-demand video. But if all you want to do is do a little bit of ironing this week or like a little bit of prep for curves, then that's what you could do is just mark your centers on these pieces and then the outer pieces as well. Okay. It's pretty easy. And it's a nice little, like, don't have to think about it, but I want to do something to make some kind of progress. That's one of the little activities that is good to do. And then also, if you do go ahead doing curves and you start making your curves this week, when you're doing these smaller curves for this block, either leave them as is and don't put them together yet, or I mean, I don't think I don't cover it in the on-demand class, but I'll give you a tip right now so that you don't go and do things and like, it's not lining up nicely. The way I deal with these, I take half my stack and I iron the seam towards the outer piece. And then the other half of my stack, I've clipped it.
Oh,
I've done some little clipping, like 1/8 of an inch clip, and I've ironed the seam towards the inside. Okay. And then that way you pair, when you pair these two up. Oh my God, what am I doing?
they nest.
These two,
Great idea.
one from each pot, two from each pile ultimately, right? And then that way you're nesting those, you'll be able to nest your seams in opposite sides so that you get a really nice continuous seam line, okay?
Great idea.
I cover it in the video next week, but if you're like anxious to get started, just be aware that that's the way you want to, just these ones. For all the other blocks, you can iron the seam out, but for this one that ends up in the circle, do half the stack in, half the stack out, okay? Now I'm mixing up my, there. And I did, like, I just clipped it with a little pair of embroidery scissors, just at 1/8 of an inch, so that way it sits nice and flat. Okay, the outward seam you don't need to clip, it just sits flat. So that explains the bloobs. These are not blueberries. I guess these would be like purple berries, but those ones are blueberries.
Bloom.
Bloom.
Funny.
Yeah, so that's some prep, some little hot tips for the curves in advance. And yeah, if you do want to go ahead and start doing them, if you're feeling confident and ready, go for it. Okay. All right.
Yay.
Gotta
Thank you.
go. Everybody's good.
Hi,
Catherine,
gang.
let me
I
see.
just want to share. You helped.
Oh, yeah.
My
Great.
That's beautiful.
So good.
Great
Okay.
colors.
Yeah,
Thank you.
really good colors. That looks great. Very nice.
I'm happy I like it because this will be my astro quilt. I cut all my pieces and then I cut the strips for this.
Oh,
like,
for the
I cut-
back?
No, it's not at least I have two things that go together in the house. But
Yeah, oh,
yeah.
nice. Nice.
So the
That's
astro quilt will be that palette.
perfect.
eventually.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
C'est parfait.
Merci.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Does anyone else have questions about this week's Bloom Along? We're good. We're good. Okay. I'll see you next week when we're deep into the quarter curves. All right. Take care, everybody. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye.